So I know this news has kind of been out for a little while. I'm aware that this is news that's been out for a bit, but I decided. Well, actually, I was going to talk about, but then other news hit. Like I was marathoning Godzilla Singular Point, and then all the trailers for Shang-Chi and Halloween Kills came out. So I was like, you know what? I'll wait a day or two to fully talk about it. So I wanted to talk about it now, and that is some more Marvel news, and we're going to be talking about some Spider-Man news, some Spider-Man comics. I can't talk apparently. So, basically, the news that's been going around is that Ben Reilly is returning as take on the moniker of Spider-Man again, and he is going to be our Spider-Man for a while. So, how do I feel about Ben Reilly being Spider-Man? Well, it's not the first time. Remember back in the Clone Saga? Yep, we all know from Clone Saga. And not only that, like, Ben Reilly's kind of had, like, as Scarlet Spider, like, a rough history as of late, where Reilly, after basically taking on the Jackal moniker in Clone Conspiracy and basically being a villain, and then he went to Las Vegas, he went to go be an asshole there. So Reilly has had a interesting life as of late. He's had a very fascinating turn of events as of late. So it's interesting to see him back in the Spider-Man costume, or a version of it. And I gotta say, Reilly's Spider-Man costume actually looks really legit. It looks like his costume mixed a little bit with Octavius's Superior costume. At least that's what it reminds me of. So I kind of dig that version of the outfit. And Reilly has been a fascinating character because he's been kind of having some ups and downs. And remember, this isn't the first time one of Peter's clones kind of went off the beaten path and then came back. I mean, we all know Kane was out of control, got to be Scarlet Spider for a while, and actually had a fantastic series that was totally underrated, and his Scarlet Spider comics were really fun. And then we bounce back to Reilly, which is it's really cool to see Reilly here. But the big question is, what happened to Peter? Because they seem to be teasing something for what's about to happen for Peter. Like, maybe he'll die fighting the Kindred, maybe something else will happen. And the other thing is, we're coming down to issue 75 is apparently Nick Spencer's final issue on his run. So, and I just realized, wait, wasn't the last issue we were on was 66? So we're wrapping this up. Like, we need to wrap this shit up, essentially. And looking back, like, at how many issues Nick Spencer had, he meandered a lot, didn't he? Like, when you look back at the rest of his run, he, like, really meandered through a lot of his issues, and now it feels like we're just trying to rush to get to the end. I was like, well, maybe you shouldn't have done, like, events within events. Just saying, like. And now we have to do after this clone conspiracy, this chameleon conspiracy thing, we're doing the Sinister War, and then we're moving on to wrap up what's going on with Kindred, unless we're wrapping up with Kindred in Sinister War. I don't think Peter is going to die. I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring and say that Peter isn't going to die. We just got him back for Nick Spencer's run to be full-on Spider-Man again. So I don't think he's going to die. I do think he's going to suffer some injuries, but we're not going to be dealing with the death of Peter Parker again. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to die, but I do think Peter's going to suffer some injuries, and he's also going to be he's going to have, like, a Nightfall situation. That's what I think this is going to be. I honestly think this is going to be Spider-Man's Nightfall post-Sinister War, where Peter's going to get so fucked up in this fight. He is going to get so broken between the fight with Ock and the Sinister Six teams fighting each other, like Sinister Six and the Sinister Syndicate going at it with one another, and then he's taking on Kindred, and he's going to just get broken as a person. So I think it's going to be a Nightfall situation where Peter is going to step out of the limelight for a bit as Spider-Man and just enjoy his time with Mary Jane. I think that's where we're going to go, and Ben is going to be our Jean-Paul Valley taking over for a while. Now, that's a interesting. I bring this up because is Ben going to go full Jean-Paul Valley? I don't think he might, But then again, Ben recently, especially after Dan Slott's abysmal clone conspiracy comic, that comic was basically showcasing that Reilly had gone nuts. And they did kind of play with that in his Scarlet Spider series that was short-lived. So, yeah, Ben Reilly is still a still mentally unstable person. So he could go Jean-Paul Valley on anybody, and then it's going to be Peter taking back the Spider-Man moniker or something of that degree. But yeah, if anyone's going to take over Spider-Man at this point, it might as well be the person he technically calls his brother. I mean, aside from Kane, who I think Kane is still dead. No, I think Kane... I can't remember if Kane's alive or dead anymore. But yeah, it's nice to know that like Peter in other comics has referred to Ben Reilly as like his brother. So if anyone's going to take over, might as well be that person. I would have preferred, it would have been cool to see Miles be full Spider-Man. Because yeah, we don't need we don't need Ben. When you think about it, like, Ben Reilly seems kind of redundant when you have Miles right there, but I understand they don't want to have Miles fill in Peter's shoes, because that's what he did in the Ultimate Universe. So we don't need that. Again, we don't need that for a second time. Besides, he's going to be Captain America, apparently. That's a whole other thing. Yeah. But Ben, it's going to be cool. Like I said, I don't think Peter's going to die. I know they're kind of teasing it. I think it's going to be more of a Nightfall situation where Peter's just going to be so wrecked that he's just going to retire for a bit. He's like, I want to be done with Spider-Man for a while. I can't be Spider-Man. I just want to enjoy my time with Mary Jane, and Ben can go off and be Spider-Man. But then I bet you what's going to happen is that Ben's going to go overboard, and then Peter's going to have to come back and fight him for it, because if anything, Marvel and DC always have this tendency to be like, it's this event, but different. I mean, they just did Flashpoint with Marvel characters. So, anyway. So, you guys tell me in the comments below. What do you guys think of Ben Reilly becoming Spider-Man? Are you guys interested in this? Do you think Peter is going to die, or do you think he's going to retire? Do you think this will be like Spider-Man's Nightfall? Oh, by the way, before I forget, they're going to, apparently, post issue 75, they're going to be the comics are going to come out more, so they're going to kind of do, cycling through all the writers. So they're going to have, I know Zeb Wells is one, I know there's a handful of writers that are going to be doing this, and they did this before, post Brand New Day, where they had a bunch of writers go through a cycle to write each issue, and that's how Dan Slott got the job, for better or for worse. So I think that's what they're doing now, is we're going to cycle through a bunch of writers in a circle to write storylines for Spider-Man, and then they're going to pick somebody. Personally, it better be Chip Zdarsky on the main Spider-Man title. It needs to be Zdarsky or Christos Gage. You know, I think it's time Gage finally got to do his Spider-Man's comics, but I'd be fine with Zdarsky. If you've read Life Story or his Spectacular run, then yeah. Or anything he's doing in Marvel. But anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.